Did you miss us? Because I kind of missed you. I mean, a little bit. It's good to be back. This is Slamcast. I am your host, Brandon, joined as always by my co-host, Nick Horaceck.
Yep, I'm here. Just same old bullshit.
Yeah, man.
Road to WrestleMania, baby.
We're scaling back. I don't know if you kind of realize we were scaling back. There's no really need for you guys to hear from us weekly. I mean, that really kind of brings down the experience. We've done this literally 100 of these shows.
Yet how many times are we scrambling to find shit to talk about?
Yeah. So, we just figured that we could literally cram these down to, once a month, and the content will be better, so we're not, constantly, finding things to talk about. We're kind of, just breaking things down. We're joined today by Miguel Leon. Miguel, welcome to the show. Back.
Making my debut at number 30.
Yes.
Hopefully you can keep the booze down.
Yeah, no, we're not. This is the surprise entrant that you're actually like to hear.
Does that make me the Ty Dillinger then of Slamcast?
I guess. Here's one of the things I'll talk about. I guess we'll talk about that in the Rumble. I have my thoughts on Ty Dillinger. While I'm happy, I have thoughts, but we'll get more on that later. Yeah, so we're back. Welcome. I hope everybody enjoys their holiday period. I know we left right after Thanksgiving, and we were in shock and awe over what just happened at Survivor Series. I think we needed this time to calm down, let the time simmer, and get ready to enjoy the wrestling at its best. Because I think always the build to WrestleMania, I think, is when things are at their best creatively for a while. And now we're into that WrestleMania season now. And I think it all started with the Rumble. It all technically started with NXT, which NXT proved yet again that if you get the chance to go in your local municipality to a takeover or to an NXT event, if takeover is any indication of what the NXT house shows are like, NXT is one of the best tickets a wrestling fan could buy. Because that crowd, electric, the content that they get was amazing. And yeah. That was my weekly NXT put over. We have a new NXT champion in Bobby Roode.
Yes.
Congratulations to Bobby Roode. I shouldn't say I didn't see it coming, but I think there's really only two ways Nakamura loses in WWE, where they could have him lose and keep him look real strong. Is have him be injured or have the other guy cheat to win.
Yeah, Nakamura is one of those guys where you want to protect him as much as possible.
Yeah, because I think his whole character pretends on him being. It literally hinges on him being able to kick and knee someone's, face off.
Yep.
And that being effective, and when he loses that, everything else I think slowly starts to crumble. But yeah. Bobby Roode and him put on an excellent match to cap off the night. They definitely set the standard from what it was. Again, NXT proves to be out there the one of the best things to watch in wrestling. They had a little invasion by Seth Rollins. I thought that was good. We started to see things bleed over.
Yeah, I like that, and it was nice little filler, not really a filler segment because it was advancing another storyline, but it was coming off the women's match, which was, I thought Asuka was going to lose the title there, to be honest.
I did not. I didn't. I just knew that none of one of those girls were a threat.
Well, if that's the way you can get Asuka, get her to lose the belt, that's really the way to do it without actually beating her. But
yeah, it was having one of the. I think in Fatal 4-Way couldn't have Peyton Royce and the other broad Billie Kay just pinned each other and won.
Yeah.
That's so.
So it's obviously where they're setting up for that. It looks like we're getting an Asuka Ember Moon match, presumably at the next takeover.
Yeah, which will be WrestleMania weekend.
Yep.
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do because they're
You
gonna be
will
here
be in Orlando.
Yeah, they're gonna be down here. I know I'm not going to WrestleMania because I just can't afford the tickets. I already checked, but I may either try to see if I can get tickets for the NXT show or the night after Raw. I gotta see if I'm gonna be able to because I don't want to go too in depth, but I got fucked over in my taxes, so I gotta figure shit out.
I will say this: the not going to take over Brooklyn when I could have gone for literally like $20 just to get in the building, and then get more from there, with train fares and stuff like that. Not missing out on that show, knowing how good the show was and how much money it would have cost me to get there is something I strongly regret not doing last year. And I think even Nick was admonishing me as well and calling me stupid for not going, which I did definitely feel very stupid for not going. So
yeah, there were a few of those moments on that show where it's like, yeah, I regret not going.
I was just like, God damn it, I missed that. I could have been. It was yeah. So yeah, man.
Well, it looks like I just checked. It looks like the tickets for the takeover show for Orlando pretty much are sold out because I just checked. I think
the thing's gonna be it's gonna be sold out on that, but the third party market.
Well, Ticketmaster, yeah, according to Ticketmaster,
Ticketmaster's gonna be sold out. You're gonna have to go StubHub or other sort of things because they all gone.
I did just recently see a concert at the Amway for Billy Joel, which that building is beautiful. If you've never been to the Amway Center in Orlando, it is a beautiful building.
I've seen it because, I watch basketball and the Knicks play there at least once a year. So, yes, it's very nice building. That's where the day after Raw is going to be held too. So everything, yeah.
So
we'll see.
The Raw after is usually the really hot.
That's I think that's the one. If I had to choose, I would try to do that one. NXT is a good choice as well. Anyway, so we had this setup. NXT set the table on Saturday.
Yep. Right. Can I say something about the NXT show though?
Go for it.
I'll say this. Looking at the card, I think this is probably the first show where you really started to notice the damage that the call-ups from the post-draft have pretty much hurt the roster. I think, especially when it comes to the women's division.
They definitely took the talent. The talent pool definitely got, decimated in the last couple months.
Right.
But I think they more than delivered on expectations. Mm-hmm. I mean, the four girls that were in the women's match were all pretty crisp. Asuka, continues to, look dominant.
Just murder everybody in her path, yeah.
Right. Asuka's still a decent draw for them, but, when you go from the horsewomen to the new crop, I mean, I know you have to build those women up. I get that.
It's what was, I can't remember what, Layla and Michelle McCool's thing, the Lay Cool version 2.0 with Billie Kay and
Peyton Royce.
Right. I do think
Australian Mean Girls.
Yeah, I think they could
Oceanic Mean Girls.
Right. I think they can benefit by maybe scouring some journeyman talent and see. Like they could probably do some.
There's somebody they could have brought in, but apparently she has. The reason what got her, out the door was a bit of an ego problem, I heard. And that's Leva Bates. They bring back Blue Pants. I'm not saying that she saves the division, but, that's something they could use to have. But they have a crop of women coming up. Mm-hmm. Kimberly. Names are escaping me right now, but there
Mary
is...
Dobson, Crazy Mary.
There you go. Yeah, there is a lot of potential there. So I think the one person who is the potential threat to Asuka is, what was her name? The girl from Sanity. Oh,
Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross. There you go. that to me, if anybody, I know Ember Moon seems to be everyone's favorite to be building to take down Asuka, but I think Nikki Cross is the one to watch.
Definitely. I could see at some point that Sanity group holding a few of the tag titles as well.
At some point in time, I believe it. I think Sanity absolutely could do NXT will do faction war or a faction coming over and taking over, and I think Sanity has absolutely built that. I think Sanity might have been what they were building Solomon Crow to be. I think somewhat.
Yeah, they just he never got used, and when he did,
no,
it was
but Eric Young is definitely taking some idea, or I don't know if this is his idea or an idea Creative is giving him, but he's taking this concept and running with it and making, trying to make himself a name, I guess, which is what you do when you get that opportunity.
Of course.
And he's going to put over other guys too. It's I don't know, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's Wyatt Family-esque, but not as dynamic with the promos, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. I'm just curious where Sawyer Fulton is going to fill in, when he gets, because he's hurt. He was in that group, and now they brought in, Big Damo. Killian Dane, which is actually a pretty badass name.
I love that name, too. That name is way better than Big Damo, but,
Yeah, and then Tommy End is now going by Alistair Black. Which
I love the names, dude.
So at least they didn't,
I'm high on this Sanity group. That's all I'm saying. Give them a little bit of time. And I think they'll be NXT's new boogeymen.
Fair enough.
It's only a matter of time. I think it's only a matter of time before sometime this year they'll have all of or some of the gold in NXT.
Yep.
I honestly, looking at Sawyer Fulton, I would not be shocked if they just got rid of him. I mean, he was back in there. He was in NXT during the days of him and Angelo Dawkins. I mean, you got to fish or cut bait when it comes to these guys, especially if Big Damo really takes off as the muscle of the group.
And you got guys coming up all the time. There's unless they really see something in him. At some point in time, like you said, they got to fish or cut bait, like you said. Shit or get off the crapper, which I could definitely see that happening.
I mean, it could be like an Eric Rowan situation.
When guys get hurt, yeah, exactly. When guys get hurt, they become expendable.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where... I mean, I was glad because they finally started doing something with him. He looked like he were going to shoot him off to another plateau, but it just... Yeah, once guys start getting hurt, it's like, where's your limit? Where do you realize he's not
they really break you down, and they make a decision with you and what they're gonna do. So I mean, we'll see what Sanity does. I think very good things.
Speaking of tag teams,
yeah, go on.
I was going to segue. Speaking of tag teams, I'm still not sold on the Authors of Pain. To me, they just seem like 3-Minute Warning 2.0. I mean, they're just big guys.
So, Samoan Shield or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the fact that Paul Ellering is back. Like, that's a real throwback for me. A lot of I don't know if the NXT audience is that hip to how good of a manager he was back in the day, but it's kind of cool that he came back. I thought that, but they do nothing for me as a team or presentation wise or nothing. I
There are plenty of other tag teams that could have used Paul Ellering more. I mean,
the Ascension.
It's on the nose.
Yeah, that's too obvious. The Ascension comes back. But,
Well, I mean, you gotta also understand, Authors of Pain also don't speak English very well.
No, they don't. They don't.
So it works in the sense that you have a guy and Ellering doesn't say much.
No, he doesn't have to. That's what I'm saying. And what he says is what he says is kind of generic, but it's the delivery.
Yep.
His delivery hasn't changed, and it's still like those old Legion of Doom promos. I get what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to see these two guys are like, you can't beat them because they're two tough guys, but it doesn't resonate with me the way Legion of Doom, and they're definitely not nailing the presentation that like LOD had. Because you had guys that could speak English.
They're just generic mooks, basically.
Yeah, exactly. They don't speak. They have the mouthpiece. They come up, beat guys up, and leave. And their finishing move is even kind of dumb. Like, it's the one guy holds the guy there, and he like boots him, and then like Russian leg sweep or something like that.
They're doing the total elimination?
I don't know.
No, it's what was it? It's like a running boot side slam combo, I think.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, it's
it's the knock'em powerbomb. Sorry, that's what it is. I don't get what they knock the guys together and then powerbomb them.
No, that's not the finisher.
That's not the finish. Oh, I thought that was the finish. That's what they won the belts with.
No, it was their. I think it was like a running kick sidewalk slam type move.
Some shit. It was really dumb. If that's their actual finishing move, they should use the powerbomb thing because that's way more. But yeah, I kind of agree with you.
Side Russian leg sweep clothesline.
Yeah, okay, I knew it was something really dumb.
Well, I can imagine they could try and find something.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you, Miguel. They don't really do a lot for me, but I don't really. There's not really a whole lot of tag teams in the division right now, so I don't think DIY like dominating the division does a whole lot for the product.
Yeah, it's
one
of those things where they
having them chase the titles is always a better story. So if that's what they're gonna do, or unless these guys, get the call up to the big show, that's always a better story, I think.
Yep. Definitely.
Did we talk about Bobby Roode as NXT champion? Did I say that?
I think you did mention
Bobby Roode is your NXT champion, folks. Like, that is. I mean, we all knew Bobby Roode had talent, but who knew that that it would all just take a theme song and viral videos to get the WWE fans to like absolutely fall in love with Bobby Roode.
Here's the problem with that, though, and I know this is being pessimistic, but I do have to ask: is Bobby Roode over, or is his song over?
He got over with the song, so it's both. He's over because of his song, the entrance that gets the character over. It's a package deal.
I hope so, because I don't want a situation like a Fandango where, people think he's over.
They're automatically like putting more focus on him than they ever put on Fandango.
All right,
like,
fair
Fandango
enough.
was just like always there, and it was like, oh yeah, here's this thing that you guys like to do. Like, Fandango never had promos devoted to him.
Right. You know what? I like Bobby Roode. I've always been a fan of his, going back to his TNA run. Even when he was with Ruin Incorporated with him and Miss Brooks, I was a huge fan of theirs, and that's early TNA.
That's like 07.
Yeah, that's 07. Yeah,
well,
that was
I remember his
watching.
Team Canada days. He used to use this rabbit clothesline, the Northern Lariat, as a finisher. That's how long I've been watching him. So.
Yeah, well, my point is that I've always been a fan of his, and I loved his run as a TNA champion. I think he's going to be good in NXT. He might be one of those guys, though, that I think if they did bring him up to the main roster, I don't see him being anywhere near as big as a lot of the other call-ups. I mean, I like Bobby Roode, but the talent roster of the WWE right now is so thick. I don't see him rising above those guys. I mean, when you look at guys like your AJs, like your Samoa Joes, which we'll get to, I mean, Nakamura, I think he's going to probably rise up just because of the novelty of him being a legitimate Asian main eventer, but I don't know. I see him being a good upper mid-card guy, and that's pretty much as far as I see him. And that's not a detriment to Bobby Roode. I think it's just, if he'd have come in 5 years ago, well, not even 5, 3 years ago, maybe, but in today's environment, I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a small window of opportunity for Bobby Roode to really succeed just because on, age. But I kind of agree with you. He's not going to, I don't think his ceiling is quite as high as AJ Styles just because difference in talent. Not very much difference in talent, but notability. AJ is definitely more notable than Bobby Roode worldwide.
AJ's more of a name. Bobby Roode.
Yeah, exactly. Bobby Roode is a good talent, not that as big of a name.
Mm-hmm.
I think had Bobby Roode been a success in Japan and then come over as big of a success as AJ in Japan, then they're both on that same level. But being NXT champion and being the guy on arguably the hottest brand in wrestling. Say what you will.
It's a good paycheck.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good gig to have if you're Bobby Roode. And I'm pretty sure he didn't think it was going to go this good when he first signed with the WWE.
Yeah,
I think there are some guys. I think there are some guys in NXT that are just going to be NXT guys and only going to be called up to the main roster if there's a need for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nakamura, there will come a time when they will need to have a big star on a pay-per-view, like a John Cena versus Shinsei Nakamura match. Like, they're going to need, at some point in time, a pay-per-view is going to need that. that kind of big match feel, and that's when you'll see that. Like, if they ever do one of those, a live special again in Asia.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a bold prediction in terms of people that I think are either going to be NXT, stuck in NXT, or even leave NXT. I don't see Itami going to the main roster.
I mean, if he could stay healthy for more than a year, there's that chance greatly increases. But right now, as he's hurt, and I think he's still enough of a commodity for WWE for them to keep, and I'm sure he still wants to make good in America and not be viewed as a failure. But the clock is definitely ticking on Hideo Itami. Now that Nakamura has come over and is as successful as they need, he was supposed to be that guy, that Japanese superstar that was going to help grow the company over there, and make up the differential in the market share in Japan that they have. So he's not doing that right now when he's hurt, and they already have a guy. They already have a guy that could. They don't have to build up who's already a superstar in Japan. Tommy was known in Japan, but he wasn't Nakamura famous. Nakamura was he was superstar athlete in Japan. He was on the cover of sports pages where Kento was on the cover of wrestling magazines.
Right. He was his whole thing was the Noah champion, right?
He was the Noah champion, and he was one of the proteges of arguably the greatest Japanese wrestler of all time.
Fair enough.
That's where he got the name. So that's what got him to the the Noah championship and all that other shit. But, yeah. But Shinsuke Nakamura is a superstar athlete that does MMA fights and endorses products and makes TV appearances on other shows outside of wrestling. So it's completely different star.
Beast altogether. Yeah, there's a lot more marketability in a Shinsuke Nakamura than Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami, I think, would be a big star for Ring of Honor. He would
be huge. I think that's if that happens. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but I think the longer he stays out, and if he has one more serious injury, they'll just be all right, we're cutting our ties. And I think that's probably where he might end up if he doesn't go back to Japan. He'll show up in Ring of Honor as he won't be Hideo Itami. He'll be Kenta.
Yep.
I mean, I think he goes to Ring of Honor and just becomes Ring of Honor champion immediately.
Yeah.
He shows up. You have to put the Ring of Honor title on him.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my god, Pope! What's Kent Kojima doing in the Impact Zone?
Can we talk about that? We didn't talk about TNA in a while. TNA is still around. Who would think that they would have survived 2017 or
Dixie
2016?
Carter's gone.
Dixie Carter's gone. Yes, there's new owners, but they're still around.
Yep.
And they brought back Jeff Jarrett.
It's so weird, but they're still around. They survived the year. Like everything 2016 came for us, and at times it looked like 2016 was going to claim TNA. Somehow, some way, through miracles and somebody like some other company wanting to invest money in them, they're still around.
Yep, they are.
They are now officially the wrestling company that will not die. They are the Terry Funk of wrestling companies.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt Hardy.
Yeah. They are the Roman Reigns push of wrestling companies.
Oh.
Hey man, I am pro Roman. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
We'll talk about the Rumble later and our thoughts on the Rumble. But the actual pay-per-view itself before the match was. I'm just looking for words to describe it, other than mediocre.
I didn't think it was
bad. I think it was, if not for one really good thing, people wouldn't remember that much about it.
It was not a noteworthy pay-per-view, save for the actual Rumble, but at the same time, that's never been the case with the Rumble. No one ever remembers the Rumble as a pay-per-view. They remember it as a match, and there just happens to be other matches on that card.
Well,
and
AJ and Cena had a fucking great match, bottom line.
Right.
No question.
And
AJ and Cena had the match that I think WWE fans are going to be talking about for the rest of the year.
4.75.
That was the Meltzer rating.
Yeah, I think that was actually the legit Meltzer rating that he gave it.
That's almost. He wouldn't quite give it 5 stars. 4.75. He wouldn't quite give John Cena a 5-star match. God, could you imagine what?
He would have given them 5, but he gave that 0.25 star to Omega. You still there, Brandon?
I was coughing and laughing at the same time.
You know what?
Joke.
I'll even say this: Owens versus Reigns. As much as I shit on Roman Reigns, when Roman's with a guy that can call a match, he does well. Like he
You have
worked.
to put him in there with the right opponent.
Yeah. I mean, if you put him in the ring with Sheamus, you want to gouge your eyes out. But you put him with like a Bray Wyatt who can work with him, a Kevin Owens. That's not to say Reigns is
AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not like people act like he's not athletically talented.
Right.
And that's
He's
where
very
the
talented
Roman
athletically.
Reigns hate drives me nuts. Is you hate the booking. You hate him being shoved down your throats as the guy. Vince McMahon is sitting there just like, oh yeah, Roman's the guy. He's the guy.
I don't think Vince is doing that. I think Vince knows this is a guy who knows how to run his business, and he's not gonna nope, this is what I'm gonna do. If you don't like it, oh well, I got plenty of people that do like it, and those are the people that I'm talking to. And this is a guy who has, flied in the face of convention literally his entire professional career. People said, Vince, you shouldn't take over other wrestling companies. That goes against the unwritten rule. Nope, fuck that. I don't play by those rules. I'm taking over everybody's territory. Mm-hmm. Oh, Vince, you can't take on Ted Turner. He's a billionaire. Nope, fuck that. I'm taking over.
Taking on Ted Turner.
No, Ted Turner fucked Ted Turner. The Vince McMahon just happened to be there. Trust me, read The Death of WCW and you'll know that was a dumpster fire of a company.
I mean, no, I knew it was a dumpster fire coming. That eventually, if it, were it not for the AOL Time Warner merger, would have self-destructed in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I just think the Roman Reigns hate, like Nick, is entirely unnecessary because, like you said, we saw out of when he works with people that he can, I could coach him through a match.
You can get a
He's
really good match
pretty,
out of him.
he could get a good match out of him.
Roman,
This
you know
was-
what Roman needs? Roman needs a good injury angle. Like he needs something. Somebody needs to take him out 5 or 6 months. They start playing promos, maybe the licensed music like they did for Triple H, and then they make a big deal out of it, and that might help him out a little bit more.
Like if he showed up 30 at Royal Rumble after being out for 3 months, people would have had a better reaction.
5 months. 3 months
Okay.
might still be cutting it close. 5 months, I think, yeah. If he'd have come out at number 30, I think people would have freaked out. Look at what happened with Cena when he was out in 07, I believe.
So I meant,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I heard it was the 08 Rumble when he came out number 30 and lots of shit.
I still watched the video of that pop. That pop was amazing.
It was New York too. That was Madison Square Garden popping for Cena. So, like I said, yeah, I think you might be right on that, but I think unless he's actually hurt, there's no reason to keep him off TV for
Yeah.
6 to 8 months.
No, not 6 to 8 months. I'm saying like 5.
Have him go shoot a movie or something like that. He's off TV for a little bit. But, yeah, I guess I like that match. I like how Chris Jericho continues to be one of the best things
Yes.
on wrestling,
Again,
week in, week out. Like
he's
he's
a
always
guy
going to
that
do
got
something.
over a potted plant, 69 thumbtacks, and a list.
Yeah.
That I actually had an epiphany about that. Goddamn, WWE knows how to get inanimate objects over.
I think it's the talent. It's the talent. It's certain guys
Yeah.
just no matter what they do.
You got
They're gonna
trombones, you got potted plants, you got
Yeah.
lists, you got umbrellas now. I mean,
Jack Gallagher.
Oh God.
we'll get to that. But yeah,
Yeah, I know.
WWE
We just get it out of the way. I don't think it comes off as any big surprise. Brandon is in the Jack Gallagher champ, camp. Like, please, at some point in time, why Jack Gallagher isn't UK champion is beyond me. But we'll get into that's a whole other podcast.
I mean, well, that UK tournament was fucking great.
It was pretty good from what I watched, and congratulations to GFOP Nigel McGuinness, who has does a pretty goddamn good job on commentary, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, this week on NXT, they had like this 5-minute video package from Corey Graves' farewell. And Nigel McGuinness is going to be taking over things there. So that's going to be fun.
That's if anybody they can say is going to be better, could be better than Corey Graves has been at NXT. Nigel McGuinness is absolutely the guy to do that. I think could do it.
Good old Desmond Wolf.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think coming off of that, I thought we were going to see a pretty good Royal. I'm always excited and anticipated for the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, it's that one match you always look forward to. I mean, you're going to have your great ones, you're going to have your shitty ones, but you're always going to have those moments in there that, you're
that
going
are
to
good.
remember.
I will say this before we go on to the actual Rumble. My low point of the night was the Neville Rich Swann match. I was just bored to tears with that match.
I think there's some match had to be the break or like the cool down for the crowd.
But that shouldn't be your cruiserweight match. When you're trying to build this division as a new exciting division, you can't.
No, you should put it on, I think I agree. They should have been on the pre-show, and Cesaro and Sheamus losing to the Bullet Club should have been on.
Yeah, that tag title match should have been on the main card.
On the main card.
I don't even know what to say though. Like that seems to be a
No,
pattern.
I think they haven't really quite figured out what they're doing with the cruiserweights. Like all right, we're giving them their own show, but we're still using them on Raw.
Right. 'Cause we've got 3 hours to fill.
Yeah, because we got 3 hours of content to fill, so we need them there. But they're still trying to figure out creatively where they're going with that. I think putting the belt on Neville makes sense because
Turning Neville heel is fucking awesome. I love
I
it.
mean, I've been surprised. The promos have been kind of cringeworthy. Believe me, I wish they would just let guys speak more because you can clearly tell Neville's reading from a script. Like, it's not good. It's the work it's good seeing him back, and the work has been good, and like he worked good as a heel, but his promos as a heel, or at least him interacting with other people, it's kind of just like, ooh, buddy. Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. I haven't been a fan that much, but I definitely think putting the belt on him.
Submission finish, though. I like the fact
and putting the belt on him just to me makes most sense because he's the biggest star you have in that division.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I was curious to see what they were going to give him for a finish if he's still going to do the Red Arrow, and I'm glad he's not because that's more of a.
Definitely.
He's doing the Red Arrow. It's a big, exciting type of thing. Submission finish, fucking great.
Yeah. So.
Which I believe is the old Rings of Saturn, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Sort of. It's very similar to. Yeah, Perry Saturn came up on an episode of Talk is Jericho, and apparently that was one of the more emotionally heartfelt episodes. I couldn't listen to it. I heard about the things he was talking about, and I'm just like, Jesus, I don't need to potentially cry while I'm at work. Good, I could skip that one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so
all the best wishes to him.
Yeah, so that was I kind of agree with you, Miguel. There were some hits and misses on the pay-per-view itself besides the match. But I still had renewed hope that all right, the Royal Rumble's gonna totally redeem this show and it's gonna be completely awesome.
Oh no, I didn't hate like I said, I thought
I didn't hate it either because yeah. No, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I didn't hate the pay-per-view overall. I think the card itself didn't bother me. I'm gonna have more to say about the actual match, but the card as is, sans the actual main event match, was not terrible. I mean, without that final matchup, this would have been a solid, I'd say, B level show. Solid matches on the card. If they'd have taken, like, for instance, if they'd have replaced the Royal Rumble match and put the pre-show matches onto there as one full card, this would have been a great pay-per-view. Like I said, I'll have more when we actually get into the actual Rumble itself.
Right, so I was hoping that the Rumble match was going to be the thing that was going to take this over the top and make this a really great show. I gotta say, kind of underwhelmed this year with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I was thinking about the next day, and I'm like, the Rumble was always known for like big surprise entrance. Debuts.
What's gonna happen? Something's gonna happen.
A legend's gonna show up.
I felt that somebody was gonna come out. Not even somebody was gonna come back. That there's just gonna be some surprise, some kind of something.
Right.
There was nothing. Yeah, Ty Dillinger coming out, but that was you kind of figured that was gonna happen, and that was.
Yeah, it was obvious, but it was great.
The pop was worth it, and good for that guy because that's talking about a guy who's been in and out of the system and now is finally doing good. Yeah, he kicked Stan. That was
still one of my all-time favorite moments.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Shawn. That was one of the best parts of that second DX run. But it was. I just felt. They're getting very heavy. It's. I wish Women's Royal Rumble had a modicum of kayfabe to it. It was more random. Like the two guys that come in, the guys that came in, you knew they weren't gonna go the distance and win. Maybe Jericho was there, the 61-minute man now, so he could call himself that.
Yep.
But it was just.
I mean, you had
overwhelming.
Braun Strowman throw 6 or 7 guys out. He looked like a dominant.
I thought it was going to be all right, at least cool. Braun Strowman's going to come throw people out until, someone big comes and throw Braun Strowman out, like Goldberg or Brock Lesnar or something like that. And then he just went out unsuspectingly, like, really early. I'm like...
Yeah, it was like a triple team.
Yeah.
I think Sammy
Like,
Haluva kicked him out.
Yeah. Like,
And that ring got way too full, I think, way too often. It was... I mean, between how many tag teams were in there? You had,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Zone Cass, all three of the New Day, Sheamus, Cesaro. It's like just loaded. And at one point, there was like 12 guys just laying around on the outside near the outside.
Jericho
of the
became
ring,
61-minute man because he spent most of the match on the ring apron or on the outside.
Yeah, he just... It's like... Because that's smart. You know, that's how you do it.
well-
You want to last that long in the Rumble? Find a spot where no one sees you, hide, and then boom.
Oh man!
I think Jerry Lawler...
The Jerry the King Lawler way, hide under the ring.
Has Jerry Lawler spent like half a Rumble hiding under the ring.
Yeah.
I think my
man.
biggest problem with this Rumble is this Rumble, maybe since the 1999 Royal Rumble, was one of the least main event heavy Royal Rumbles.
Yeah, there was just a bunch of mid-card guys. Like, there was. I didn't feel like anybody was gonna become anything in that match until later on, and I'm like, oh really? They're just going to go with all the big guys at the end.
Yeah, because
Like,
there
there
was
was
some
no-
point when, you know, you had 10 or 11 guys, you know, laying around. That's when like Goldberg or Lesnar were going to come out and toss half of them over, and then it was going to go, and then here comes Goldberg, and then after that, here comes Taker. Not really what we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, it was just like, okay. It became, again, there was no suspense to it, I thought. Like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be somebody good? No. Once I started realizing they were going to get all the fodder out early and, you know, the big names were going to show up later,
Yeah.
I was like, I grew less interested. And then I literally, at one point in time, I fell asleep. And to be honest, I missed the Lesnar, Goldberg, Undertaker stuff. I totally fell asleep.
Basically,
I woke
what
up-
happened was, you know, Lesnar got tossed out like a jabron. You know, Goldberg chopped him out for it. So, I'm just ready for this.
Of course he
Goldberg
did.
Yeah, because I'm ready. Because where this is going is Lesnar's going to beat Goldberg at WrestleMania, and then we're done with it.
Yeah, at
Good.
this point,
Then we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
move on
I
from
got no
Goldberg and
desire.
Yeah, we could stop this pointless Goldberg nostalgia. Like,
Yeah.
you are realizing, oh wait, Goldberg wasn't that good.
You know, honestly, if I were WWE, if it were my choice, I would blow off the Lesnar Goldberg match at Fastlane, and I'd probably do Goldberg versus Undertaker and just be done with it, because I think that's really, aside from Lesnar, the only other matchup you'd ever be able to use Goldberg where people would give two shits about would probably
Yeah.
be against Taker.
And if fucking Taker does not fucking tombstone Goldberg in under 10 seconds, then what are we doing in life? Like,
They may have to, because Taker ain't moving so good.
I thought he was doing fine.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess he was in pain. That's the professional he is. I'm hurt. Fuck it. Going out there. You know,
I don't think he would have went out there if he was, you know, knew he wasn't 100%. Like, he doesn't have to go out there if he doesn't want to. Like, I'm sure, unless like he's getting definite like serious favors from Vince, like go out there, like one of these I'll owe you one pals. Like he's
but the difference is with Taker, he will pay up. But
yeah,
it's another
or he will collect.
Yeah, it's this Rumble at once, because you're coming down to number 30. Taker came out at 29.
Yeah, there's just, man. Like, I thought,
Oh
like,
no,
there's
there
that one.
was there was suspense
Yeah, it's like,
because
who's
we
gonna
were
come out
shocked
at
at
number
number 30.
And Roman comes out, and I'm like, oh, this is about to go real south.
You were really fucking like surprised that Roman Reigns was number 30. I was not at all.
I laughed. I was just
I wasn't at all.
Because I have that kind of moment, like, I like Roman, but it's like, really? This is...
Yeah, of course he is. Of
I
course he's
was
gonna be
just
the
hoping for
30th
like
guy.
a return or another guy. No, it was...
Nope, nothing.
But-
You got nothing. There was no juice,
So,
no pizzazz, no no OMG moment, especially after you're following last year's Rumble, which had AJ's, debut, like a legitimate OMG moment.
Yes.
There was just, I don't think you can follow that up. You're going to have to let that rest for a little while and then try and top it.
And then pull Kenny Omega out of your hat.
I think Omega was going to show up. That was the only way. And I think once people knew that was not going to happen,
right.
Which, again, no offense to Kenny Omega, if I'm him, I'm letting that linger until the last possible second. Like, I'm getting my friends in Memphis to tweet out that they're on their way to the airport, or,
yeah,
somebody floats a new T-shirt design. Very good job by Pro Wrestling Tees, though.
Yes.
Trying to drum up sales merchandise. Kenny Omega may show up in WWE, show up at Royal Rumble.
'Cause...
In that case, his shirts will be taken down immediately. Buy some Kenny Omega shirts.
Yeah, that's some business on their end. Good for them, because
that's good. That's intelligent. That's intelligent businessman right there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's like,
good
someone can say like, "Oh, you're just trying to drum up sales." Well, yeah.
That's what companies
Kenny
do.
Omega's one of the hottest fucking guys in wrestling, and because a lot of WWE guys don't have. I guess Dustin Rhodes now has a Pro Wrestling T-store, but I think that's different with. Because it's not Gold Dust related, it's Dustin Rhodes related. I think Jerry Briscoe has one up there too, and there's like different. But other than that, it's they have their own marketing, and
it was shrewd business on their behalf.
So good for them.
And again, if I'm Kenny Omega, I'm letting that go until the last possible second that I'm making my decision. Keeping that suspense a little while longer. Having some of my friends that are in the company. Gallows and Anderson, being out things, taking Instagram pictures, waiting for my boy KO, not fat KO.
Yeah, Ono.
Yes, speaking of things I never thought would happen.
Yeah, really.
Holy Jesus. Like, I talk about, again, just NXT is just literally collecting the home for independent talent. Like, all right, hey, we need... You've reached a big enough name. We're going to take you. Feel kind of bad for my buddy JT Dunn because they just started doing things together as Death by Elbow and, traveling all over the world, doing PWG shows, doing shows in Germany. But that won't set JT Dunn back. I think JT Dunn is somebody you will hear from again in 2017. Already been on Impact, by the way, too. But,
nice.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the winner of the Rumble then?
Yeah, look, I don't have a problem with Randy Orton. I just kind of I want to know where this is going. If I was booking it, I think that would have been the perfect time. Of the people that were still remaining in it, that would have been the perfect time to go with Bray Wyatt. Because would have been the least person people least really expect to win it. And then you get, what does a guy with Bray Wyatt now do with that opportunity?
See, if it wasn't for the fact that they seemingly have a different path that they want to take with the Universal title, I would have just had Jericho win and really capped off this whole Jericho-Owens thing at WrestleMania. I mean, that would have been probably the easiest way to do it. I know a lot of people have their hearts set that Bray Wyatt may walk out of Elimination Chamber with the title.
Yeah.
But this is WWE we're talking about, and man, would it not be such a WWE move to have the main event of WrestleMania 33 be Randy Orton versus John Cena?
I knew that as soon as
such a WWE.
One last
I was watching that, and as they're doing this, Orton's pointing to the sign, which they all got to do.
Yeah.
The color just drains from my face, like, oh god, they are.
See, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it live, so I fell asleep during the live broadcast.
Oh, I was watching it live, and I just no, they are not doing this. Please, for the love of God, no.
And you know that they would build it up as some dramatic rivalry, bitter rivals since the day they came into the business. They would try to build it as
it's the rivalry that defined an era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the rivalry that won't end until both these guys are dead.
Yeah.
Two names are indelibly linked.
what was that poster that came out with like Generico and Kevin Steen, where it was like, "We will be fighting till the day we die," or something like that. Something to that effect. Some like poetic.
They'll be fighting to the day Vince McMahon dies.
Yeah, like something to that effect. Like they're gonna really sweeten this up as like this big momentous. It's such a WWE thing that I'm shocked if they didn't do that. I mean, this is the same company that wanted to do Batista versus Orton when Daniel Bryan was like the hottest thing going.
Yeah, they literally forced to change the path on that one.
They were like the hell gun to their head.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, glad for fuck.
I guess
here you go.
I guess this is what they want. I don't really get it, but okay.
But that was the great thing about that. When you have Triple H come, they come out, he's a B+ player. It was like, oh, that was actually too perfect, because there were top WWE fighters. This guy's nothing. He's a B+ player. When you inject that little bit of reality into it.
But that's what I thought makes the
Rollins
Seth Rollins Triple H feud good. We'll talk about that later too. But I think. Yeah, it's a very WWE thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get one last time Orton versus Cena, the rivalry that find an era.
Yeah. But do you think this is going to be the last time?
I mean, no. John Cena.
Even if I do think they build it up like no
last time, because John Cena is definitely in transition to being not a full-time wrestler. Like he's definitely become what he said he would never be, and that's a part-time WWE guy, because he's going to be doing other things. But again, I think he'll always be the hardest working guy that WWE's ever seen because of the things he does, but he's just not going to be there.
He's not going to be full-time, on every house show. He's not going to be, which, and again, Cena gets a lot of hate because, Cena wins, LOL, but again, he's another one of those guys you put in there with the right opponent. Fuck it, you can get some great.
I can't say hate the man, because you honestly can't say you hate the man for the amount of good work that he does in the public. So I can't.
At this point, it's like holding a grudge. We just got to kind of like.
Yeah, let it go, man. Like we all, and the people that hate John Cena sucks, and I get that's cool because that's what become the thing.
Man, I like hearing it when they're chanting, John Cena. Like I like hearing it, but it's like. At this point, it's a fun thing to do. It's
the fun thing to do. I don't think anybody actually thinks John Cena sucked or is a terrible talent or should... I'd say thing with Roman Reigns people. It's people that think Roman Reigns is the worst wrestler ever and is killing the company and needs to be released, and that's going to be the only thing. I'm like, oh, are you fucking serious? People. First of all, when people say something like that, I give them the, all right, well, yeah, how good is your territory doing?
Yeah.
He's all right, you're not sure. Tell me how good is your wrestling territory doing? You're
just
you're
as
killing
good as
it.
Global Force.
You're killing it right now. You're making Vince McMahon money. Get the fuck out of here. No, you don't presume.
Basically, Roman Reigns is kind of the face for the hate for the creative kind of thing, because.
Because you're trying to make a new star, and that's the guy that they're going to go with. That's going to be the new face of the franchise, and the fan base isn't really reacting because he's not resonating quite as well as other people
that's
that
the way a Daniel Bryan did.
Daniel Bryan was entirely organic. You can't.
Yeah, it's the idea of just getting over organically.
He came in with people in the independents, and then he used that as a way in the foot in the door. He used his ring work to get himself over to the fans, and then once he came up with the yes chant, he had that way of expressing something to the fans to because people are. There's only so much you could do when people just chant Daniel Bryan, clap, 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 clap.
Yeah.
When you have an entire building of people pointing their fingers, and that thing becomes viral.
Right.
You can't, deny that guy's over.
It was a great story. He had 2 matches at WrestleMania, and that main event ended up being, a lot better than it was originally going to be on paper, because. As good as a match Batista can have, I think they could have had a good match. That's not what fans wanted. I mean, and then
Yeah,
mostly.
I mean, but who
idea-
knows though? If they got that, would they have been that upset? Because I think Orton, is at that phase in his career now where I don't think he can give you a bad match. Like
He's that
he
seasoned
just is.
to where,
Yeah,
if someone
he knows
fucks
what
up,
to do.
He knows, it's fine. I was
How to
listening
cover it.
to,
He knows how to cover it up.
Yeah.
He's become the ring general.
Yeah. I was just listening to a clip of Jericho and Raven talking about something like that, where, like, you're so far in your career that you can't have a bad match with anybody. I mean, it's instinct type thing.
You know what to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know what's going to work. You feel the crowd as soon as you step
And
up
I
the
mean,
work.
Batista, that little bit heel Batista in that during WrestleMania, that was great.
I don't think that's what he was before. I don't think he was expecting that. But, yeah.
But he's like,
That's
okay,
what
they're
I'll do.
hating me. Fuck it,
I'm
we're
a
going
heel.
for it. I got one pair of skinny jeans. I'm gonna wear them every week. Just
Give me my spotlight.
I was actually excited. I'm still a Batista fan. I still like Batista. That was bad timing. Same thing with like Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. That was a case of the last few Royal Rumbles have been just a case of bad timing on people's part.
It's like people it's the fans not expressing. They're not getting what they want, so them and their friend Mark are going to write about it on the internet.
Here's the thing, not technically the case, because I wonder if it had not been for the Daniel Bryan situation in both 2014 and 2015, would people have nearly been as angry about Batista or even Reigns winning as they would have been? I think it was just the situation of just there was somebody people liked more. Had that not been the case, I don't think people would have shit on a Batista Orton main event or even Reigns.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. There's people that the fans wanted to win more or they liked better, and the fact that creative decided to go one way.
And also, it's funny that when Batista won the Rumble, like people wanted to see Roman win, which is weird.
Well, once it got down to the like, I don't think people realized that Batista was brought in to win the Rumble.
No, and you got to remember
also,
Reigns still had a mystique to him. They hadn't. Yeah. He hadn't cut a suffering succotash promo by that.
He wasn't exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weaknesses wasn't. Well, again, because the guy who's been in the business less than 5 years.
Right.
Than,
Right.
And
still,
as good as he starts getting, he's only going to get better. We're going to see
him
start. Yeah.
Once he turns heel, once you can see what he does as a heel, I think we're gonna. And it's not just the contrarian. He needs to be a heel so it can justify my booing. I think when you're a heel, it shows the kind of creativity you bring to your character. And I think once people see that, that's when they decide whether or not they're going to be behind a guy or if they're like he sucks and just start booing him. I think once we see the full oeuvre, as it were, of Roman Reigns,
I think they're behind that because I think they need somebody that's going to be, like I said, the face of the franchise, as John Cena now pivots away to becoming goodwill ambassador.
Right, but remember, even Cena started off as a heel, and then the fans turned him.
And it's just people are liking going out battle rapping guys.
Right.
Yeah, but again, I think John Cena's one of those guys who made himself the face of the franchise just by he met all the criteria. Here's going to be the guy that we're going to use going forward. And, he was given that chance. I think Roman Reigns meets all that criteria that they want of a guy to be the face of a franchise. They need somebody. They're just like, all right, it's his time. Let's push the make a star button. Why isn't it working? Usually it works for every guy we push it towards. Why isn't it working for this guy?
Well, there's also a point, in guys' careers where they start turning on, their big top guys where fans start to get sick of it. I think now we're just seeing, fans can see it coming from a mile away. They're already rejecting it. I mean, you look at Hogan at some point,
they've always been booing Cena.
Same thing, Austin didn't really get that because, right. But it wasn't as bad when he first got over as it is, now. Because it seemed like the early years...
The thing is now is people are realize that they're committed to this guy as being the face of the franchise, and they're slowly rejecting it. I think at some point in time, they got to find a way to make him, to keep doing it. Like, I think if they keep doing it, more and more people will come around. I don't know what you really could do at this point. Come back to make him, to get people to stop booing him. I think there's always going to be that pocket of people that are going to boo him. So
yeah, but I think now it's just hipsterdom. I think it's a cool thing to boo him.
Exactly. It was the cool thing to boo John Cena for a while, or to hate on John Cena for a while. That was.
Oh no, I was talking about John Cena. If you're talking about Roman Reigns, I think, like I said, for Roman Reigns, he needs to get off TV. He needs the people need to miss him.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're not wishing injury upon anybody, but hey man,
be like,
hey man, you want to go take a break for a little bit? Like, I think we got a good idea for you. We need to hero you up.
Yeah, you need to like come in and save somebody. And...
Exactly. Be off TV for a while.
Yeah, I think they definitely screwed it up when they put him in the Rumble in 2016 as champions, entering number one. They had something because they started to turn a corner with them, and then just.
Well, what they said, that they thought they might have had something. Then the Royal Rumble against Batista, they're like, maybe we actually do have something with it. Then once they broke apart the Shield, it's like, all right, we like this guy. Let's do it. Let's go. This is the guy. We got his. This is gonna be our guy. Then everybody else is we'll have the two guys. We'll have Seth Rollins and this guy. This other guy,
right?
Roman Reigns. We like him.
They didn't immediately start turning on him. I don't remember the booing.
Yeah.
Being that bad.
He was
hernia injury.
Fairly well liked. He was fairly well liked up until recently, which is I don't understand where it comes from.
No, I understand completely. They came back. He started cutting Suffering Succotash promos. And exposed him. Like, had he come back and just kept his mouth shut or kept it simple, I don't think it would have nearly been
or just gave him bullet points.
I think I think he was handcuffed by Creative. I think Creative sandbagged.
Yeah, I think again with promos, just give these guys bullet point A, B, and C, and let them get there.
Not even so much bullet points. I think it's a situation where I'm just say right now, I think a lot of that stuff, and I believe didn't they confirm in the case of Roman that a lot of his stuff was being written by Vince?
I wouldn't be surprised. Again, like I said, if Roman's gonna be that guy, which I think he is, Vince takes a certain liking to what the face of the franchise says and does.
Right. The problem is you have a 70-year-old man trying to sound tough, and it just doesn't work. It
doesn't come off.
Yeah, it sounds like a 70-year-old man trying to sound tough.
That's the problem that we're going to come into in the future when the chain of succession kicks into line. Essentially, when does Triple H take over Raw, booking Raw?
Speaking of Raw, let's transition into that.
Yeah.
Yes, because everybody thought Seth Rollins was going to find some way to get into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was too, to be honest.
But they didn't, and they continue to pick up this thread, him calling out Triple H, starting what was to be considered an obvious match at WrestleMania.
Right, and I mean, it's obvious, and that's what I think people want to see. That's where this is going.
This has been going for the better part of a year.
Yeah.
The internet, collectively caked their pants when Samoa Joe attacked Seth Rollins.
Yep.
Now the internet waits with bated breath with news of Seth Rollins' injury, apparently. And as of what I heard, 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
I mean, this is all really early news. We don't know what's really for sure. My sources are not anybody official.
Right, it's like that's all I'm hearing at this point. So I'm hoping
I'm hoping this is storyline, like
purely kayfabe, because it just seems it's way too convenient.
They don't need this. I just think they don't need this right now. Like, this is not something that they need to have happen. Like, they don't need another WrestleMania build scrapped on a whim just because key talent goes down.
Yeah.
Well, they said 8 weeks, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, if we're saying 8 weeks from now, it would be cutting it close, but he may be able to come back for WrestleMania, because remember, WrestleMania is April 2nd. So from now to April 2nd, that's about 8 weeks. So it would be dangerously close, but I mean...
I think it may be 8 weeks before he... it is close, but like you would want him there for the WrestleMania build, and if he can't do much, what can you really do?
By the way, considering we're talking about Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe, did anybody check on Bret Hart that he didn't hang himself?
But, I mean, how much you want to bet, though, you know, now that this injury thing has come out, Bret was sitting at home, I told you so. I told you. I'm not going to go on any podcasts, though.
No, because he was shitting on Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins. It was almost like a paradox, almost. It's almost like that photo with the two buttons and the guy sweating. It's just Bret Hart pointing at that. It's like, do I hate Samoa Joe or do I hate Seth Rollins?
Yeah, what does he do? Does he hate Seth Rollins? Does he hate Samoa Joe for hurting Seth Rollins, or is Seth Rollins unsafe? Hart doesn't know what to do, and he may have had another stroke.
Oh, fuck.
It's not funny. It's terrible. Ugh. I'm not going to go on any podcast, though. Good. Thanks, Bret. Just continue to speak at conventions and,
Yep, do your thing and
take promoters' money, please.
Well, as far as Joe is concerned, what I'm reading online, and this is strictly speculating. Let me actually pull up the article that I found.
Well, I like the fact that he's going to be now. I think Triple H is heavy. Like he's the new Triple H guy. You have Paul Heyman guys, and now there's Triple H guys. Yep. I like the fact that could be a good thing for NXT to really strengthen NXT is to do an invasion angle. Like,
yeah, I was about to say if
Triple H leads NXT against SmackDown and Raw.
Mm-hmm. Because if you have, Seth Rollins basically fired the first shot, showing up at TakeOver.
Yeah.
He's like, Scott, I'm taking this bitch over. Get out. He calls up Triple H, and then, oh, look, Monday night after the Rumble, here comes Samoa Joe out of nowhere, beats the piss out of Seth Rollins and chokes him out.
Yeah. I like the fact that they're calling Triple H the Creator and the Destroyer. Like, that's a boss nickname.
See, my big problem with that is once you inject the authority into here,
anytime you say inject, you have to say it like Vince McMahon does. Inject.
Well, it might be a poison because the last thing we need to see is start seeing Stephanie McMahon pop up on episodes of NXT. I don't want that. I don't think any of us wants that.
I'm not saying you have to do that, but...
Oh, no.
You don't need Stephanie showing up on NXT. You have Triple H.
Well, shit, we need Stephanie McMahon showing up on Raw. That doesn't stop her from doing that and cutting the balls out of her.
I disagree. I think she's definitely her father's daughter, and I'm like, I'm not turned off entirely by awkward, dorky Stephanie trying to be tough. Like, she's her father's daughter in the sense that she's a ruthless businessman, but she's also her father's daughter in the sense that she's a complete ham on camera. Like, some of the little things she does on camera are completely hilarious.
I guess
just
so.
Like the little quips. Like, they're clearly like she's working on a script and then she'll just quickly deviate off course from it, and like little dabs, little jabs. She's good. I'm not saying there's not without awkward moments. Believe me, some of those backstage moments are just like. Okay, like, that just happened. Let's move on to the next thing.
Did you have to eat all of the nuts on camera, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Did you have to eat all of them? Anyway.
Look. But it's good for Samoa Joe that he's making his debut. We'll see where this goes. Hopefully it's not a serious injury, and hopefully Seth Rollins can make WrestleMania because, that would be, guy's only had one WrestleMania as a solo performer.
Yep, and that was, wrestling Randy Orton early in the card, and then the big cash at the end.
The greatest heist of all time.
Yeah, that's...
Anyway.
I mean, they called Edge the ultimate opportunist, the way he cashed in Money in the Bank. That was Edge on another level.
That was the greatest Money in the Bank cash in of all time. Like, you closed WrestleMania with that. Like, that was video game level shit, bro.
Yes, it was. That was fucking WWE Universe 2K17 level shit.
Yeah.
If there's If there's one guy that I can say that they could probably slot into like the face role against, let's say Seth Rollins doesn't make it back, and they need to slot somebody into there against Samoa Joe. If it were me, I would have Samoa Joe start working as a heavy for Stephanie, and I would build up to a matchup between Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn. And I would continue with Mick and Sammy and kind of have it be a butting heads situation, you know. I can't think of any other face that on the Raw roster, at least, that they could put against Joe.
That's what, like you said, Stephanie McMahon is running Raw. But
Right.
whenever she has a problem, she turns to her husband, Triple H, and he gets one of his NXT goons to come up and like rough a guy up, or somebody over in a match or something like that.
Right.
And then that's like you introduce NXT as like, again, Triple H's enforcers, so you'll get like guys like Killian Dane or whomever, like whatever big tough.
See, I think if the roster was the same as it was last year when it was a lot beefier, yes. But I don't think the roster on NXT has enough meat to it that you can pull that off. Not now. Not in this scenario. Give it a year when they've got more established main event guys down there, yes. But they've already pillaged most of NXT as is.
Well, right now, Joe is serving in that role pretty well. Like Joe is the go-to. Joe acting as Triple H's insurance policy, his heavy.
Right.
That works for me.
Right, and you can go wrong with a matchup at WrestleMania.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it gives Sami Zayn something to do other than losing. Going back to the Royal Rumble, I thought there was one thing that I thought they should have done, they didn't do, when they were doing the whole exchange of balls with Ambrose and Zayn. I thought it would have been a cool thing that, since technically Ambrose opened the ball that Zayn picked, that should have been his number. So Dean Ambrose and number 8 or whatever it was, and whatever Dean Ambrose number should have been Sammy. Like, they unwillingly switched numbers due to some legal compulsion or something like that.
Right. Well, speaking of WrestleMania, since we were talking about Sami Zayn, and the only reason I'm pushing this through is because I got to be out of here by 12:30 because I got to get up at 7.
Yeah, I'm wrapping it up anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Let's get the final points.
Let's speculate on WrestleMania. It seems as though the big matches that they're building up to, obviously Goldberg versus Lesnar, which according to reports that I've read, and let me see if I wish I could actually look online. They're there, but the speculation seems to be that they're going to do Owens versus Goldberg at Fastlane to get the title on Goldberg so they can make the matchup for the Universal title with Lesnar obviously winning the belt.
Okay. Can we have a big groan?
Yeah. I mean, look, I've pretty much come to the point to where I understand WrestleMania is nothing more than a freak show spectacle. It really is just a big budget Bellator pay-per-view at this point. They're gonna throw all of the shit at the wall to see what sticks, and this is a byproduct of that. And then after that, we go back to business as usual. I don't know how
they throw all the crazy shit just to get this one thing that's gonna look really cool. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to hope with a couple months as Goldberg as your WWE champion, but at the end of it, Brock Lesnar's gonna throw him through a fucking canyon or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is what they do. They put the title on somebody that they know is going to generate those nostalgia fans that they could put on like Good Morning America and the Today Show, and it's nauseating. I know. Trust me, I'm more annoyed at the other matchup that they have planned, which is Taker versus Reigns, because I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I get it. They're going to try to get Reigns over against Taker, but do you see Taker taking the L against Reigns? I don't know.
I think Roman. I think we were talking about guys that could help Roman Reigns get over with the fans. Him putting out a good match with Undertaker could be that thing that gets people to stop from booing him. Like,
Wow.
I don't know. I could see it backfire because I mean they are. If they're gonna do what they think they're gonna do, and
no, I'm not saying him beating Taker would
For
definitely
Taker,
have
we've seen it for
people
years.
boo him out. But if he puts on a good match and loses, both parties are satisfied. They have the hardcore stuff and Undertaker wins, and these other people that boo Roman Reigns can say, "Oh man, he can work. He can put on good matches." There were times when I thought he was gonna win.
I think you're gonna win more people over. I think you're still gonna have that.
They just hate him no matter what, and I just
to
stopped
be
trying to
honest.
change.
But once you ignore that small,
It's like
subsection of the
60-40
fan
at
base,
this
then
point.
you're
Like,
but
there are people that boo him, but there are also people that cheer him. You can hear them as well. I'm looking forward to see what they do with AJ Styles and John Cena. I don't think that feud is quite over with.
well, we got the Elimination Chamber coming up in a couple weeks, so
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
I mean, hey, they may do fucking Bray and Orton at WrestleMania. They may surprise us. They may
Yeah, I mean
do something else off the wall. I don't know.
It was so weird that Randy Orton. It was. I didn't expect it, but I didn't hate it. I just don't know where it goes from here. Teammate? No. Don't know.
Supposedly, I'm reading an article right now on F4W online. So take that what you will. But the convention going into WrestleMania is that if they do end up putting the belt on Bray, the conventional wisdom that
Jesus world we live in right now.
it's like the Marvel universe. It's like it's all building
The
up to a big event.
Bellaverse.
Yeah,
It's Bellaverse. Look, I will admit I do occasionally watch from time to time just because it's trash TV and I'm a sucker for late night viewing sometimes. But yeah, God, that's really what they're going to use John Cena for. Eesh. Ugh. Anyway, I still want to see what Styles is going to do at his second WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I predict AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. you just sank a little bit inside thinking.
Yeah, that dampened my expectations because I know that there's so many other people that could put great matches on there. I'm not saying this is going to be a bad matchup because if anybody gets something out of Baron Corbin, AJ Styles can. But
I mean, they've already done Ambrose versus AJ. They already did Miz versus AJ. I mean, there's not much else they can do with AJ. I mean, the only other guy on the roster, if they're going to do like a singles match, is sadly Baron Corbin.
James Ellsworth versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
That's been done.
Oh man!
Honestly, I wouldn't mind. You know what? If they're gonna do a mixed tag situation, instead of slotting Cena into there, fuck it, slot Carmella and Ellsworth in there against Miz and Maurice. That's a comedy. I'd be fine with that comedy.
That's
match.
That's pure comedy right there. Like anything that guy keeps doing is just bonus.
Oh yeah, I mean Ellsworth, good on him. Got a little spot in the Rumble match, and he's done very well for himself. Just being a guy that just got murdered by Braun Strowman.
Random guy, like that actually does work when you just feed people, random people, some mech.
Right, and sincere dap to Ellsworth taking that horrific bump over the rope.
Yeah. Everything he takes usually kind of makes me cringe. Like he's one of those guys that like I know he's probably safe, but there are things that he does that are just like, oh buddy, that like it hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that really looks like it fucking hurts. I mean,
yeah. On that note, this has been fun. We're going to do these semi-regular. It's not going to be done every week, so enjoy them while you can.
Yeah,
the next one will probably be WrestleMania-ish. We'll see, but just always keep it posted on the Retro Unlim iTunes and Facebook and all that other stuff.
Yep.
All right. Some plugs and let's get out of here.
All right, Miguel, you plugging anything or no?
YouTube.com/NerdGenius, I think is his channel.
Yeah.
Senior Burhan's channel, basically. Michael Burhan. Look him up on YouTube. I wish I had his channel on there. I've written a couple of scripts for him for videos, mainly the Wrestle Ramblings that he does. Check those videos out. I've written a few of those, so and check out the rest of his stuff on there. You guys know what it is.
Yeah. Nick.
Yeah, Gaming Pegasus 187, Twitter Gaming Pegasus 187, Facebook, Instagram, Xbox Live, Wii U Pegasus 187, extremely on PSN. I'm all over the place. I've just been doing shit. I've been trying to find another job, so yeah. But I've got being
an adult sucks. That's all I'm gonna say. That's part of the reason.
You have your boss text you the morning you're gonna go into work and just say the business closed. It's like
that sucks for real. I know people that's happened to, and that's totally booty.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
Brandon takes out.
So yeah, I'm Brandon. That's Miguel. That's Nick. False Finishes. That's a thing that's happening. That's on Facebook. Also, falsefinishproductions.com coming soon. More content on that coming soon. Everything's coming soon. Eventually, as soon as I get around to getting it. I got to be a responsible adult for a while before I start working on other things. So, for the aforementioned Nick Horaceck and Miguel Leon, for the aforementioned Broken Michael Burhan, I'm Brendan Liggan saying go forth and spread beauty and light. Peace, love, and humpiness. We out.